Image copyright PA Image caption Recent disagreements over US and UK policies are understood not to have played a part. Donald Trump has cancelled the visit to the UK planned for February, saying he was not a big fan of the new US embassy in London he was due to open. The US president had been expected to open the new $1 billion £738 million building, commissioned by his predecessor Barack Obama, which he said was a bad deal. The ceremony may instead be hosted by US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Mr. Trump accepted the Queen's invitation for an official state visit when Theresa May met him last year. Downing Street declined to comment on Mr. Trump's cancellation of February's working trip to the UK. In a tweet, Mr. Trump said he was not happy that the Obama administration had sold the previous US embassy at Grosvenor Square in London for peanuts. He said the new building in Vauxhall, South London, was in an off location, adding, "Wanted me to cut ribbon. No, the BBC understands that Number 10 is considering options for a state visit later in the year, with plans for Mr. Trump to have lunch with the Queen at Buckingham Palace." But no firm date for a state visit had ever been agreed, nor had the White House nailed down the details of the trip, says BBC diplomatic correspondent James Landau. Woody Johnson, the US ambassador to the UK, last month told the BBC he absolutely expected Mr. Trump to visit Britain in the new year. The latest development follows reports that Mr. Trump wanted to delay a potential visit amid concerns about large-scale protests. Skip Twitter post by Real Donald Trump. Reason I cancelled my trip to London is that I'm not a big fan of the Obama administration having sold perhaps the best located and finest embassy in London for peanuts, only to build a new one in an off location for $1.2 billion. Bad deal. Wanted me to cut ribbon. No. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, January 12, 2018. End of Twitter post by at Real Donald Trump. During the Queen's speech at the state opening of Parliament last summer, there was no mention of a visit, although a Downing Street spokesman said an invitation had been extended and accepted. Mrs. May was the first foreign leader to meet Mr. Trump after his inauguration when she visited the Oval Office in January 2017. Typically during state visits, the government, the visiting government and the royal household agree on a detailed schedule where the Queen acts as the official host. Media playback is unsupported on your device. Media caption A little bit of America south of the river. According to BBC North America editor John Sopel, Mr. Trump felt that the embassy was a legacy of his predecessor, Barack Obama, who was in office when the site in Wandsworth was secured in 2008. Recent policy disagreements between the US and UK are not thought to have played a part in the decision, including Mr. Trump's move to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Mrs. May said she disagreed with that US decision, which she deemed unhelpful in terms of prospects for peace in the region, and in November, Mr. Trump clashed with Mrs. May after she said it was wrong for the US president to share videos posted by the far-right group Britain First. Mrs. May more recently discussed Brexit and events in the Middle East in a pre-Christmas phone call with Mr. Trump.